You're watching NASA TV.
Good morning and welcome to the International Space Station Flight Control Room here at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. I'm Leah Cheshire and we are live today to bring you coverage of US EVA 86. The spacewalkers are about 30 minutes ahead of schedule today. They have completed the pre-breathe portion and are already suited up in the equipment lock portion of the crew airlock. Today is the 261st spacewalk in the history of station assembly and maintenance, and it's scheduled to last approximately 6.5 hours once the spacewalkers switch their spacesuits to battery power. Today's spacewalkers are NASA astronaut Steve Bowen and UAE astronaut Sultan Al-Neyadi. It's Bowen's 8th spacewalk, and he'll be EV-1, wearing red stripes around the legs on his spacesuit. It's also the first ever spacewalk for an astronaut from the United Arab Emirates. Sultan Al-Neyadi will be EV-2 and he will wear an unmarked suit. Woody Hoberg is the suit IV, meaning he's the lead on station for getting the crew properly suited and ready to head out the hatch. Today, Bowen and Al-Neyadi will address two primary tasks. The duo will exit the station's Quest airlock to prepare for future installation of upgraded solar arrays on the starboard side of the station's truss this summer, which includes routing cables and covering modification kits with MLI or multi-layer insulation. The astronauts will then retrieve S-band antenna equipment and bring it inside the space station before it is eventually returned to Earth for refurbishment and relaunch. The crew on station consists of 3 NASA astronauts, 1 UAE astronaut, and 3 Roscosmos cosmonauts. Steve Bowen, Woody Hoberg, and Frank Rubio of NASA, Sultan Al-Neyadi of UAE, Andrei Fedeyev, and Dmitry Petelin, and Sergei Prokopyev of Roscosmos make up the 7 crew members currently on board the International Space Station. Today, the astronauts inside the station are still supporting the spacewalk and will have a live video feed of the 2 astronauts working outside. The International Space Station is currently flying 262 statute miles over the North Pacific Ocean. It's in an orbital nighttime, traveling 17,500 miles per hour, or 5 miles per second.
In-suit pre-breathe clock resumed at 11:47, and we show 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 36 seconds on that clock.
Houston copies.
Again, we're live in Mission Control Houston at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, where the Orbit 2 team is now taking over from the Orbit 1 team, who has been walking the crew through their suit up and their pre-breathing, as well as other spacewalk preparations this morning. Flight director today will be Scott Stover. He's leading all the flight controllers on the ground through today's spacewalk. He is joined by Capcom. Both Rubio and Hoberg looking ready to go, as do the 2 astronauts in the crew lock portion of the Quest airlock. As we get a live view from outside the Quest airlock, we have confirmation that the spacewalk itself began at 8:11 a.m. Central Time today as the astronauts turn their suits to battery power.
And making snug. All right, and that's complete. Thermal hatch is open.
Copy. You are now go to egress the airlock.
Keep on egress in the airlock. Busted.
And Sultan, as he egresses, your next step is going to be to transfer the crew lock bags out if you want to get eyes on crew lock bag on 2 or 3.
Okay, I was expecting the IDA bag. No, IDA is 3rd. All right, copy.
Yes, you can pass those bags in any order.
Okay. All right, copy. And by Sultan, I want to make sure I'm in good orientation here and get my...
And Steve, as you get set, please also turn on your HECA.
All right, let me get myself in a good config here. My waist tether. My shooting a little. I got.
And Sultan, once you get out and set, your next step is to receive crew lock bag 1 and stow it if you want to do that right now. Otherwise, you can leave it temp stowed for translation adaptation.
Again, the crew members continue with the first task of the day, which is fixing the appropriate settings on these articulating portable foot restraints. They will stow those on their body retractable tether.
And Sultan, your next step, you can retrieve the EVA scissors from the crew lock bag 1, and we'll be cutting the MLI strap.
All right, copy and unlock.
And Steve, we'll have you stand by on the MLI until we get the strap cut.
Okay.
This view coming from the helmet camera of Sultan Al-Neyadi. The International Space Station currently flying.
ESP2, you're going to be going to the starboard side, just forward of that trunnion pin. The good news out there is that there's no NBL structure to get in your way, so you should make that corner nice and easy. And you're going to be looking for handrail 8007.
For that 8007, and I did notice that NBL structure here. Thanks. All right, I'm at 2003, stopping to drop my green hook.
Copy. Green hook to 2003, and just note the barber pole on the one side.
And I see it.
The space station currently flying 258 statute miles over the South Atlantic Ocean, which we are getting glimpses of in the background of Sultan Al-Neyadi's camera.
It just continues straight outbound on.
Taking my legs in, and I'm going to see if I can reach the... Okay, Steve, you're good to go. I have all the bags. And the forwards, and made that for you. Come back out and get the cover.
Good work. We'll have you ingress and close the thermal cover. And if you both want to, this is where you can reduce your TCV setting. As you get on the SCU, it has warmer water. So to minimize risk of fogging, you can reduce your cooling just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Secure that. Get the cover in place. Okay. See where you are.